Gemini announced this morning that the crypto exchange, founded by the Winklevoss twins, is launching an XRP credit card with Ripple.
This is the XRP edition of the Gemini credit card, effortlessly earning you XRP every time you swipe.
Might we otherwise come into possession of it to add to that stockpile? And so you asked about this meeting at the White House in March.
Also, this one's pretty interesting here. If we take a look at the previous 2016 BTC halving cycle where XRP had a monster move, you can see here.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I'll be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all them empty.
What's up, good glitches? Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock news. No breakfast, no coffee. Shout out to the latest sub. We got XRP back on the rise again, back above $3. Is this a breakout or another fake out? If XRP can break these two downtrends, then you can look out for our next level at around $3.35, $3.40, and then $3.65. Hopefully we can keep the pump going. We're gonna dive into some more charts at the end of the video. We got Big Brad Garland House, an XRP rewards credit card out in the world. What a time to be alive. XRP family, a credit card designed for XRP enthusiasts.
This is the XRP edition of the Gemini credit card, effortlessly earning you XRP every time you swipe. Gas, groceries, Ubers, restaurants, it doesn't matter. With every swipe, XRP automatically stacks in your portfolio because sending money across borders is a pain. It's slow, expensive, and a thing of the past. But with XRP, you can move money anywhere on Earth in seconds. Instant, cheap, 24/7. And in the past 5 years alone, XRP's up over 1,000%. with the US government considering adding it to their digital asset stockpile. But here's the problem. Buying XRP for the average person can be confusing until now, because the XRP credit card acts like a normal credit card while automatically rewarding you with a small amount of XRP on every purchase. So instead of getting cash back, you get XRP back. Get the XRP credit card today. Your future self will thank you.
Link in the description if you're interested in the XRP credit card. We got Digital Asset Daily, huge news. Chinese fintech giant Link Logis is putting its $1 trillion supply chain finance platform on the XRP ledger. So it begins. Digital asset investor, how is the US government going to add the digital asset stockpile? Riddle solved, and Ripple is right in the middle of it.
To that, how might we otherwise come into possession of it to add to that stockpile? And so you asked about this meeting at the White House in March. During that meeting, at one point, crypto czar David Sachs asked us, the assembled guests, to go around the room and bring to the attention of the administration something they hadn't yet embarked upon. And when it was my turn to speak, I referred them to an article I'd written in Cointelegraph a few weeks before, along with Coin Fund President Chris Perkins, a former Marine, in which we called for the dusting off of a constitutional provision, Article 1, Section 8, which allows Congress, gives Congress the specific authorization to issue something called letters of marque and reprisal. Yeah. Now, that's a term we don't hear anymore, but it was very common in the 17th and 18th centuries. Yes. When countries would actually authorize merchantmen to arm their ships and attack foreign shipping as part of warcraft, especially by countries that didn't have much of a navy.
Right. So if these were the privateers and John Paul Jones.
You got it. Yeah. The new John Paul Jones would be the one, whatever tech firm is most successful at hacking back from the Lazarus Group and other state sponsors of hacking activities that are stolen crypto. And that's the idea here, is that Congress would authorize the executive branch to issue these letters. I've been privately advocating that we create a competition, that firms that would qualify for these letters have to demonstrate, first of all, existing capacity, computing capacity, hacking capacity to do it, and that we would authorize multiple firms with this capacity. We would set a set of specifications they would meet, and then there'd be competition to hack back. We would specifically designate who they were going after so that it doesn't become something that people can use to harm their enemies. They would only be able to harm our national enemies, which we would define. And then who would emerge would be the most swashbuckling, buccaneers of the 21st century cyberspace.
Meanwhile, well, insider breaking CME Group says that XRP is the fastest contract across 1 billion in open interest, doing so in just 3 months. XAV crypto XRP hitting the CNBC spotlight, well stacking ETF buzz. Gemini just launched the XRP credit card. Mainstream adoption is knocking at the door. The transformation of wealth is upon us.
Okay, let's talk about the top stories. Gemini announced this morning that the crypto exchange, founded by the Winklevoss twins, is launching an XRP credit card with Ripple. The card allows customers to earn up to 4% back in XRP on fuel, EV charging, and rideshare purchases, 3% on dining, 2% on groceries, and 1% on other transactions. Now, Gemini said it's also teaming up with some other merchants to offer up to 10% back on eligible purchases for all Gemini credit card holders. In a statement, Tyler Winklevoss said, quote, "By introducing a special XRP edition of the Gemini credit card, we're giving customers in the XRP army new ways to earn XRP and express their passion, loyalty, and excitement." Gemini is also expanding access to Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD. The firm says the token is now available as a base currency for all spot trading pairs for U.S. users, allowing traders to move between that stablecoin and other assets on the platform without extra conversion steps and fees. The announcement comes as the firm pursues an IPO in the U.S. The company confidentially filed for an IPO back in June. Now, this is the latest move from asset managers moving into spot altcoin ETFs, as many have applications pending with the SEC for XRP, Solana, and Litecoin ETFs, just to name a few.
The momentum is building. Mustache altcoin. Did you know that BTC dominance has broken down from the ascending broadening wedge pattern that has been in place for more than 1.5 years? Is this just a back test? Remember, when the dominance collapses, XRP melts faces. Crypto's TA all-season checklist. BTC all-time high, check. ETH all-time high, check. BTC dominance dropping, check. Altcoin pump loading. XRP pumping. Galaxy XRP consolidation between new support and the previous all-time high, just as it did in 2017, and we ain't seen nothing yet. XRP crypto ETH versus BTC breakout update. The entire saga is simply a retest of the fib 0.5, and it absolutely needs to hold if ETH is eyeing that 6 to 8K target. Let's all root for ETH to pave the way for the proper all season in 2025. And Dark Defender, whichever path you use, whether Elliott wave, cut pattern, or historical pattern, it doesn't matter. All roads lead to Rome. XRP completed the cup in its handle. The next leg up is happening now. Taking a look at an example here, the example of a cup and handle pattern on Tesla's 30-minute chart showing the rounded recovery followed. The breakout occurs alongside a broader uptrend in the tech stock, enhancing confidence in the trade. Given that the depth of the cup's base is resistance approximately $22.50, a trader might reasonably target its upside move towards 260 using a measured move strategy. And as you see here, the depth of the cup was around 222. The resistance level where the cup broke out was around 242, which is around $20. And if you add the $20 to the top of this resistance, it gives you that $260 target, which pretty much did exactly. And taking a look at XRP here, if XRP can break this downtrend and pass the previous 360 resistance, it'll confirm the next move up for XRP. If it breaks above 360, the handle resistance, the target would be 360 plus 195, the cup depth, which would be around a $5.55 XRP. What to watch for: a clean break above the red trend line, volume expansion on the breakout, price holding above 360 after the breakout. Take the depth of the cup, which is around $1.65, minus the resistance level around 360, will give us that 195. 360 plus 195 equals $5.55. Also, this one's pretty interesting here. If we take a look at the previous 2016 BTC halving cycle where XRP had a monster move, you can see here after the BTC halving day, if we count this one as the first candle, second, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, XRP's pump came on the 8th, 9th, and 10th. And then we had the consolidation and correction, which was 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then 17 was the final candle for XRP. And then it entered the bear market on that 18th candle. We take a look at our current cycle for XRP here from the BTC 2024 halving date here. If we count the next one as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. XRP's first move happened on the 7th candle. Then we had 8, 9. And if we go back here to check XRP, the same for this previous cycle for XRP, 3 green candles, 8, 9, and 10. The only difference is XRP started 1 month before, and then we got 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That 17th candle loading. Will we enter a bear market on the 18th candle? We have the current speculated BTC halving cycle projected to end around October on that 18th candle. Let me know what you think down below. And taking a look at the BTC dominance back in that 2016 cycle where XRP had this monster, nearly 760x, 76,000% gains. As you see here, Bitcoin fell off the cliff, dropped around 63%. While that was happening, XRP hit the top here January 2018, 64% drop for BTC dominance. And XRP's first candle came in around March and then topped off May 2017. Here we have March when BTC began to fall. Here we got May 2017, and then that January 18 top for XRP where BTC hit the low here. Then we have the 2020 BTC halving cycle where the SEC dropped the lawsuit. But if you go from the lows here of March 2020 to the highs here, XRP did a 16.3x. And if you check when XRP peaked around April of 2021, if we take a look at the BTC dominance, the last green candle for Bitcoin's dominance was around December 28th, 2020. And XRP started its run around November of 2020 and was probably getting ready to run even higher, but this is when the lawsuit dropped. And XRP dropped with the BTC dominance, but we topped off here in April of 2021. When XRP hit that top, BTC dominance dropped around 34%, but overall, BTC's dominance dropped around 50%. Potentially XRP should have went higher, but the SEC lawsuit shut things down. And take a look at Bitcoin's dominance once again here in the April of 2024 BTC halving cycle. As you see here, when we had this 11% drop began around November, and this is when we had XRP hit another peak here in December. As you see here, XRP's run began in November of 2024 and peaked around December of 2024. Aligning here with Bitcoin dominance falling once again here in November of 2024, and then finding the bottom here December of 2024. And this was only an 11% drop, and we had XRP go from, and the lows of XRP in July of 2024 was around 40 cents to that 340 top was around 8.5x at around 755%. And then Bitcoin's dominance began to fall once again June of 2025. Take a look at XRP. As you see here, June 2025 is when the next run started for XRP, when we hit another new top at around $3.65 for XRP, another 90% gain, 91% gain for XRP. Then XRP began to fall once again. We take a look at the dominance here. The dominance began to pick back up here in July. And then August, we begin to fall again for the BTC dominance. We've seen ETH hit a new all-time high. This could be the start of the Bitcoin dominance falling even further like we did in the previous cycles. In the 2020 cycle where it fell nearly 50%. And then in that 2016 cycle, it fell nearly 64%. Could we see Bitcoin's dominance fall another 30 to 40%? If that happens, then watch out for XRP to blast off. And here's that XRP versus BTC when XRP had a massive move against BTC. As you see, the first top May 2017 and the final one here January, at the end of December, January 2018. And then the 2020 cycle where XRP had a short-lived bull cycle because of the SEC lawsuit, where XRP only got about halfway compared to the previous cycle. And here we are in the 2024 BTC halving cycle, where here we have that first move in November. XRP rose significant against BTC. Here we are setting up for another massive move for XRP. If XRP were only to reach the previous cycle's move, then you could see a 40% move for XRP. If XRP were to get past the previous move and up to the next resistance line, we can see a 115% move. If we get up to the next resistance line, we can see a 231% move. And if XRP were to return to its previous all-time high versus BTC, we could see a 751% move for XRP. And taking a look at those moves for XRP from the current breakout price, if XRP were only to get up to the previous cycle's move, then a 40% move would take us to around $4 XRP we were to eclipse that next resistance line, $6 XRP. And if we were to surpass the beginning of this XRP cycles move, you could look at around a 230% move to around 290% move for XRP, which would put us around $9, $10 XRP to around $11, $12 XRP. And if XRP were to enter another super cycle like it did in the 2016 BTC halving cycle and eclipse the previous all-time high versus BTC, which would take us to around a 750 to around 800% move for XRP, which would take us to around $25 to around a $27, $28 XRP. And how do we get there? Well, 7 years of consolidation. We had the 2020 bull cycle shut down by the SEC manipulation, and we're entering another XRP super cycle. As you see here, 7 years, 2,492 days for this cycle. The previous one where we did 76,000% gains was only around 1,197 days. And if we take a look at XRP's position, we're currently only right here, and our current position is only right here compared to the 2016 BTC halving cycle with another massive move to go. Also, once again, 7 years of consolidation. We're shifting from retail buyers to institutional buyers, from speculative halving cycle into a full-blown utility cycle. We got crypto regulations, mass adoption, the internet of value, the digital asset strategic stockpile with XRP, an American-made digital asset, and the first one named by Trump, SBI, all banks in Japan using XRP, Nostro Vostro unlocked, and that's just the beginning. So it begins, the best is yet to come. Crawl, walk, then we rock it. And if XRP were to do something similar to the previous 2016 massive cycle, then we could potentially see XRP make a move up into the $100 to $150 range. The longer they take, the higher we keep climbing on that XRP rich list, as the top 10% holders begin to fall even further at 2,398 XRP. Where will those bags be when that regulation jar of molasses finally breaks open and XRP's true price is finally revealed? Catch you up here on the mothership. I am the XRP Bagman, BYOB. Bring your own bags, be your own bank, be your own boss. And don't forget to drop an elbow from the top ropes on that likey button. We'll see you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Eating all these bags like a black hole, rounding up some more like a lasso. We was getting turned extra bullish at the last show. Spaceship getting heavy with the last load, knowing that the pump coming soon in this blast mode. RIP peace to the chateaus, fusses they was hitting cause of Clayton they was knocking, trying to get inside of the castle. Rockets loading up, out of blast off the gravel. Told you get your ticket but you missed out on the raffle. SEC a bunch of lies, what a bunch of assholes. But that rocket reignited like a gas stove, ready to flip the switch, then we blast more in another orbit like an astro. All them times it was talking ish turned to a fiasco. Fortune to the beach, feel like Mozart playing the piano. Rob Nichols and Batman on the track, bringing mad souls. See you in the Astros. Yo, I'm a crypto-holic, all these puppets lawless. When we beat the case fatality, it was flawless. If them